May our Father, Messiah, and the Holy Spirit be with us. Genesis chapter 36. This is an account of the descendants of Esau, that is, Edom. Esau took Canaanite women in marriage, Adah, daughter of Elon the Hittite, and Aholibama, daughter of Anna, son of Zibeon the Horite, and Basemath, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nebaioth. Adah bore Eliphaz to Esau, Basemath bore Reuel, and Aholibama bore Jeush, Jaalam, and Korah. These were Esau's sons, born to him in Canaan. Esau took his wives, his sons and daughters, and all the members of his household, his livestock, all the animals, and all the possessions he had acquired in Canaan, and went to the district of Seir, out of the way of his brother Jacob, because they had so much stock that they could not live together. The region where they were staying could not support them because of the numbers of their livestock. So Esau lived in the hill country of Seir. Esau is Edom. This is an account of the descendants of Esau, father of the Edomites in the hill country of Seir. These are the names of the sons of Esau. Eliphaz was the son of Esau's wife, Adah. Reuel was the son of Esau's wife, Basemath. The sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, Gatam, and Kenaz. Timnah was the concubine of Esau's son, Eliphaz, and she bore Amalek to him. These are the descendants of Esau's wife, Adah. These are the sons of Reuel, Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. These were the descendants of Esau's wife, Basemath. These were the sons of Esau's wife, Aholibama, daughter of Anna, son of Zibeon. She bore him Jeush, Jaalam, and Korah. These are the chiefs descended from Esau. The sons of Esau's eldest son, Eliphaz, Teman, Omar, Zepho, Kenaz, Korah, Gatam, Amalek. These are the chiefs descended from Eliphaz and Edom. These are the descendants of Adah. These are the sons of Esau's son Reuel, who were chiefs: Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, Mizah. These are the chiefs descended from Reuel and Edom. These are the descendants of Esau's wife Basemath. These are the sons of Esau's wife Aholibama: chief Jeush, chief Jaalam, chief Korah. These are the chiefs born to Aholibama, daughter of Anna and wife of Esau. These are the sons of Esau, that is, Edom, and these are their chiefs. These are the sons of Seir the Horite, the original inhabitants of the land: Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anna, Dishon, Ezer, and Dishon. These are the chiefs of the Horites, the sons of Seir and Edom. The sons of Lotan were Hori and Hemam, and Lotan had a sister named Timnah. These are the sons of Shobal: Alvan, Manahath, Ebal, Shepho, and Onam. These are the sons of Zibeon: Aiah and Anna. He is the Anna who found hot springs in the wilderness while he was tending the donkeys of his father Zibeon. These are the children of Anna, Dishon, and Aholibama, daughter of Anna. These are the children of Dishon: Hemdan, Eshban, Ithran, and Cheran. These are the sons of Ezer: Bilhan, Zavan, and Akan. These are the sons of Dishon: Uz and Aran. These are the chiefs descended from the Horites: Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anna, Dishon, Ezer, Dishon. These are the chiefs descended from the Horites: Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anna, Dishon, Ezer, Dishan. These are the chiefs that were descended from the Horites according to their clans in the district of Seir. These are the kings who ruled over Edom before there were kings in Israel. Bela, son of Beor, became king in Edom, and his city was named Dinhabah. When he died, he was succeeded by Jobab, son of Zerah in Bozrah. When Jobab died, he was succeeded by Husham the Temanite. When Husham died, he was succeeded by Hadad, son of Bedad, who defeated Midian in Moabite country. His city was named Avith. When Hadad died, he was succeeded by Samlah of Masrekah. When Samlah died, he was succeeded by Saul of Rehoboth on the Euphrates. When Saul died, he was succeeded by Baal Hanan, son of Akbor. When Baal Hanan died, he was succeeded by Hadar. His city was named Pau. His wife's name was Mehetabel, daughter of Matred, a woman of Mezahab. These are the names of the chiefs descended from Esau, according to their families and places: Timnah, Alva, Jetheth, Aholibama, Ela, Pinon, Kenaz, Teman, Mibzar, Magdiel, and Iram. All chiefs of Edom according to their settlements in the land which they possessed. Esau is the father of the Edomites. Chapter 37. Jacob settled in Canaan, the country in which his father had made his home. And this is an account of Jacob's descendants. When Joseph was a youth of 17, he used to accompany his brothers, the sons of Bilhah and Zilpah, his father's wives, when they were in charge of the flock, and he told tales about them to their father. Because Joseph was a child of his old age, Israel loved him best of all his sons, and he made him a long robe with sleeves. When his brothers saw that their father loved him best, it aroused their hatred, and they had nothing but harsh words for him. Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, their hatred of him became still greater. He said to them, "Listen to this dream I had. We were out in the field binding sheaves, when all at once my sheaf rose and stood upright, and your sheaves gathered round and bowed in homage before my sheaf." His brothers retorted, "Do you think that you will indeed be king over us and rule over us?" And they hated him still more because of his dreams and what he had said. Then he had another dream, which he related to his father and his brothers. "Listen," he said, "I have had another dream, and in it the sun, the moon, and 11 stars were bowing down to me." When he told his father and his father took him to task. "What do you mean by this dream of yours?" he asked. "Are we to come and bow to the ground before you, I and your mother and your brothers?" His brothers were jealous of him, but his father did not forget the incident. Joseph's brothers had gone to herd their father's flocks at Shechem. Israel said to him, "Your brothers are herding the flocks at Shechem. I am going to send you to them." Joseph answered, "I am ready to go." Israel told him to go and see if all was well with his brothers and the flocks, and to bring back word to him. So Joseph was sent off from the vale of Hebron and came to Shechem, where a man met him wandering in the open country and asked him what he was looking for. "I am looking for my brothers," he replied. "Can you tell me where they are herding the flocks?" The man said, "They have moved from here. I heard them speaking of going to Dothan." Joseph went after his brothers and came upon them at Dothan. They saw him in the distance, and before he reached them, they plotted to kill him. "Here comes that dreamer," they said to one another. "Now's our chance. Let us kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns. We can say that a wild beast has devoured him. Then we shall see what becomes of his dreams. When Reuben heard, he came to his rescue, urging them not to take his life. Let us have no bloodshed, he said. Throw him into this cistern in the wilderness, but do him no injury. Reuben meant to rescue him from their clutches in order to restore him to his father. When Joseph reached his brothers, they stripped him of the long robe with sleeves which he was wearing, picked him up, and threw him into the cistern. It was empty, with no water in it. They had sat down to eat when, looking up, they saw an Ishmaelite caravan coming from Gilead on the way down to Egypt, with camels carrying gum, tragacanth, and balm and myrrh. Judah said to his brothers, "What do we gain by killing our brother and concealing his death? Why not sell him to these Ishmaelites? Let us do him no harm, for after all, he is our brother, our own flesh and blood." His brothers agreed. Meanwhile, some passing Midianite merchants drew Joseph up out of the cistern and sold him for 20 pieces of silver to the Ishmaelites. They brought Joseph to Egypt. When Reuben came back to the cistern, he found Joseph had gone. He tore his clothes, and going to his brothers, he said, "The boy is not there. Whatever shall I do?" Joseph's brother took the long robe with sleeves and dipped it in the blood of a goat which they had killed. After tearing the robe, they brought it to their father and said, "Look what we have found. Do you recognize it? Is this your son's robe or not?" Jacob recognized it. "It is my son's," he said. "A wild beast has devoured him. Joseph has been torn to pieces." Jacob tore his clothes. He put on sackcloth, and for many days he mourned his son. Though his sons and daughters all tried to comfort him, he refused to be comforted. He said, "No, I shall go to Sheol mourning for my son." Thus Joseph's father wept for him. The Midianites, meanwhile, had sold Joseph in Egypt to Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's court officials, the captain of the guard. Chapter 38. About that time, Judah parted from his brothers, and heading south, he pitched his tent in company with an Adullamite named Hira. There he saw Bathsheba, the daughter of a Canaanite, and married her. He lay with her, and she conceived and bore a son, whom she called Er. She conceived again and bore a son, whom she called Onan. Once more she conceived and bore a son, whom she called Shelah. And she was at Kezib when she bore him. Judah found a wife for his eldest son, Er. Her name was Tamar. But Judah's eldest son, Er, was wicked in our father's sight, and our Father in heaven took away his life. Then Judah told Onan to sleep with his brother's wife, to do his duty as the husband's brother, and raise up offspring for his brother. But Onan knew that the offspring would not count as his. So whenever he lay with his brother's wife, he spilled his seed on the ground so as not to raise up offspring for his brother. What he did was wicked in our Father's sight, and our Father in heaven took away his life also. Judah said to his daughter-in-law Tamar, "Remain as a widow in your father's house until my son Shelah grows up." For he was afraid that Shelah too might die like his brothers. So Tamar went and stayed in her father's house. Time passed, and Judah's wife Bathsheba died. When he had finished mourning, he and his friend Hira, the Adullamite, went up to Timnath at sheep shearing. When Tamar was told that her father-in-law was on his way to shear his sheep at Timnath, she took off her widow's clothes, covered her face with a veil, and then sat where the road forks on the way to Timnath. She did this because she saw that although Shelah was now grown up, she had not been given to him as a wife. When Judah saw her, he thought she was a prostitute, for she had veiled her face. He turned to her where she sat by the roadside and said, "Let me lie with you." Not realizing she was his daughter-in-law, she said, "What will you give to lie with me?" He answered, I shall send you a young goat from my flock. She said, I agree, if you will give me a pledge until you send it. He asked what pledge he should give her, and she replied, your seal and its cord, and the staff which you are holding. He handed them over to her and lay with her, and she became pregnant. She then rose and went home, where she took off her veil and put on her widow's clothes again. Judah sent the goat by his friend the Adullamite in order to recover the pledge from the woman, but he could not find her. When he inquired of the people of that place, where is that temple prostitute, the one who was sitting where the road forks? They answered, there has been no temple prostitute here. So he went back to Judah and reported that he had failed to find her, and that the men of the place had said there was no such prostitute there. Judah said, let her keep the pledge, or we shall be a laughing stock. After all, I did send the kid, even though you could not find her. About 3 months later, Judah was told that his daughter-in-law, Tamar, had played the prostitute and got herself pregnant. Bring her out, ordered Judah, so that she may be burnt. But as she was being brought out, she sent word to her father-in-law, the father of my child is the man to whom these things belong, she said. See if you recognize whose they are, this seal, the pattern of the cord, and the staff. Judah identified them and said, she is more righteous than I am, because I did not give her to my son Shelah. He did not have intercourse with her again. When her time was come, she was found to have twins in her womb, and while she was in labor, one of them put out a hand. The midwife took a scarlet thread and fastened it on the wrist, saying, this one appeared first. No sooner had he drawn back his hand than his brother came out, and the midwife said, what? You have broken out first. So he was named Perez. Soon afterwards, his brother was born with the scarlet thread on his wrist, and he was named Zerah. Chapter 39. When Joseph was taken down to Egypt by the Ishmaelites, he was bought from them by an Egyptian, Potiphar, one of the Pharaoh's court's officials, the captain of the guard. Joseph prospered, for our Father in heaven was with him. He lived in the house of his Egyptian master, who saw that our Father in heaven was with him and was giving him success in all he undertook. Thus Joseph won his master's favor and became his attendant. Indeed, his master put him in charge of his household and entrusted him with everything he had. From the time that he put Joseph in charge of his household and all his property, our Father in heaven blessed the household through Joseph. Our Father's blessing was on all that was in his house and field. Potiphar left it all in Joseph's care and concerned himself with nothing but the food he ate. Now Joseph was handsome in both face and figure, and after a time his master's wife became infatuated with him. Come, make love to me, she said, but Joseph refused. Think of my master, he said. He leaves the management of his whole house to me. He has trusted me with all he has. I am as important in this house as he is, and he has withheld nothing from me except you, because you are his wife. How can I do such a wicked thing? It is a sin against God. Though she kept on at it day after day, he refused to lie with her or be in her company. One day, when he came into the house to see to his duties, and none of the household servants was there indoors, she caught him by his loincloth, saying, Come, make love to me. But he left the loincloth in her hand and ran from the house. When she saw that he had left his loincloth and run out of the house, she called to her servants, Look at this. My husband has brought in a Hebrew to bring insult on us. He came in here to rape me, but I gave a loud scream. When he heard me scream and call for help, he ran out, leaving his loincloth behind. She kept it by her until his master came home, and then she repeated her tale. That Hebrew slave you brought in came to my room to make me an object of insult. But when I screamed for help, he ran out of the house, leaving his loincloth behind. Joseph's master was furious when he heard his wife's account of what his slave had done to her. He had Joseph seized and thrown into the guardhouse where the king's prisoners were kept, and there he was confined. But our Father in heaven was with Joseph and kept faith with him, so that he won favor of the governor of the guardhouse. Joseph was put in charge of the prisoners, and he directed all their work. The governor ceased to concern himself with anything entrusted to Joseph because our Father in heaven was with him and gave him success in all that he did. Chapter 40. Sometime after these events, it happened that the king's cupbearer and the royal baker gave offense to their king of Egypt. Pharaoh was displeased with his two officials, his chief cupbearer and chief baker, and put them in custody in the house of the captain of the guard, in the guardhouse where Joseph was imprisoned. The captain appointed Joseph as their attendant, and he waited on them. They had been imprisoned in the guardhouse for some time, when one night the king's cupbearer and his baker both had dreams, each with a meaning of its own. Coming to them in the morning, Joseph saw that they looked dispirited and asked these officials in custody with him in his master's house why they were so downcast that day. They replied, "We have each had a dream, but there is no one to interpret them." Joseph said to them, "All interpretation belongs to our Father in heaven. Why not tell me your dreams?" So the chief cupbearer told Joseph his dream. "In my dream," he said, "there was a vine in front of me. On the vine there were 3 branches, and as soon as it budded, it blossomed, and its clusters ripened into grapes. I plucked the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, which I was holding, and then put the cup into Pharaoh's hand." Joseph said to him, "This is the interpretation. The 3 branches are 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will raise your head and restore you to your post. Then you will put the cup into Pharaoh's hand as you used to do when you were his cupbearer. When things go well with you, remember me and do me the kindness of bringing my case to Pharaoh's notice. Help me to get out of this prison. I was carried off by force from the land of the Hebrews, and here I have done nothing to deserve being put into this dungeon." When the chief baker saw that the interpretation given by Joseph had been favorable, he said to him, "I too had a dream, and in my dream there were 3 baskets of white bread on my head. In the top basket there was every kind of food such as a baker might prepare for Pharaoh, but the birds were eating out of the top of the basket on my head." Joseph answered, "This is the interpretation. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will raise your head off your shoulders and hang you on a tree, and the birds of the air will devour the flesh off your bones." The 3rd day was Pharaoh's birthday, and he gave a banquet for all his officials. He had the chief cupbearer and the chief baker brought up where they were all assembled. The cupbearer was restored to his position, and he put the cup into Pharaoh's hand, but the baker was hanged. All went as Joseph had said in interpreting the dreams for them. The cupbearer, however, did not bear Joseph in mind. He forgot him. Father willing, we will continue with Genesis chapter 41. May our Father, Messiah, and the Holy Spirit be with us. Repent. The kingdom of heaven is near. Peace.